Now we're going to look at some momentum scalping scenarios, which simply means that you are trading in the direction of the current intraday trend. And just to give you a visual image as to what that would look like, let's say, for example, price moved down onto this key level of support, and it is bouncing around in a range for a while. In fact, this range could even offer some scalping trades itself. Then price moves out into an intraday trend or an intraday move, and currently this is the dealing level between these two price points, and then price moves out of that range. When you see a candlestick move out of that range, often what will happen is, depending on what time frame that you're looking at, let's say for example you're looking at a small time frame, then you may see the breakout be reflected in several, say, 5-minute candles or a couple of 15-minute candles. Well, what you'll often see is you'll see that price has come back, retested this price reference point, and then even just reacted and maybe retested a couple times before making its next leg up. What I'm saying to you is this, is that if you see a price breakout and price is up here, you don't want to trade it there. You want to trade the pullback, and you want to trust that this price reference point, which was resistance, now becomes support. You want to trust that this level will hold. Now, what you'll want to do is you'll want to measure the move from the breakout high to the pullback low, and the point at which you make your trade, you have to account for the spread. The point at which you make your trade, do you have 10 or more pips up to the high in the event that price will come up and maybe bounce off the high and potentially move into a range for a while? You want to take something out before it just bounces and moves to that high. So you'll want to take that into consideration before pressing the button, or to determine where you're going to press the button or click on the trade down here at the low. Likewise, if the trend is strong, it will make another leg up through the previous high, which potentially can act as a level of support, and you'll want to repeat the process or use the similar trading strategy or concept that you did in this scenario here. So if price moves up, wait for a retracement. As price moves back to resistance, which is now support, determine how much room you have from the breakout high or the last recently achieved high to your entry point to determine if you have enough room to take some pips out. Then if price responds, take some out before it exceeds the high, because it may just stay in a range. Some general order rules for the momentum entry. When a key level is penetrated, look for the market to retest or bounce at the level, the breakout level, and offer a potential trade. Only trade this when the trend is very clear and when it's strong, and if it helps if you have an understanding of what the fundamentals are that are driving that move off of that base level of support or through the last high. When the market penetrates the level and makes a new high or low, measure the distance from the potential retest level, or from where you're going to make your order, to the high or the low that was recently achieved, in order to assess if there's potential for profit. A couple of examples. Interestingly enough, we have a low here. Price comes down, tests the low, it reacts, and this reaction is about 25 pip reaction. Price penetrates the low, moves down, penetrates the low again, comes back, it retests and responds. Comes to the low and responds. It breaks through, comes back, support, resistance becomes support, and it reacts. It moves up to support, becomes resistance, and responds, and just drifts sideways into the next session. Resistance becomes support, and it reacts. Here we see that the market has moved off of these highs. It has penetrated the highs. It has come back, and we don't have any specific price reference points here, but it pulls back. Look how much it pulls back from 94.60 all the way to 94.20, a 40 pip. We see a 40 pip pullback from the highs here, and then a nice response. So 40 pip pullback, and then about a 35 pip response. As we consolidate, price moves out of that range as the New York session opens up. The high becomes support, but even here, even this spike here, you can trade on this pullback right here. Okay? Look how close this level is. You can trade on this pullback, or you can wait for a more significant, fuller swing. This would be, of course, looking very closely at recent price action, whereas alternatively, you would see a nice price swing from this low to this high, all the way back, and then up again. So you could do it one of two ways. You can either trade this pullback, or you can wait for the bigger, longer-term pullback with the objective of it staying in a range and getting paid before it moves out of this range. Even from this low to this high, we have 20-some pips. Likewise, price actually, right here, price actually struggles to move through. And this could create some confusion. It struggles to move through, and then it drifts up and moves through and holds, price holds above at a later time.